There are some Nigerian business people or salespeople whose job involves showing off a physical site to a potential customer, to a potential client. So, for instance, if you're a commercial leasing agent, somebody wants to lease an office to you, there are times that you have to call up the client, meet at the site, and you have to walk them through the property and try and figure out if this is going to be a good office for them to lease. Now, sometimes you also have to do that online if you're a commercial leasing agent, because it's not every single time that the customer can, hop on a plane or drive down to wherever it is you are. So sometimes, especially for customers who are out of town a lot, potential clients, you just, take the bull by the horns. You go to the place, you whip out your phone, and then you walk them through on WhatsApp. Now, this kind of situation is not ideal, but you know that it's our daily bread. We have to move the deal forward somehow. So there are some people that to close the deal, to advance the agenda, to build the relationship, to do the whatever, you have to show somebody a physical site. So today, we're going to walk through some principles that you can use to guide how you're going to walk people through that physical site. Now remember, the reason why this is important is because we're using this to build a relationship with somebody. We're using this to pursue an agenda with somebody. We're using this to close the deal with somebody. So this is going to relate to people like I said, commercial leasing agents, or a real estate agent, or you're a property manager, or you're a site selection consultant, because there are people that, let's say you're looking for a warehouse, there are people that you can call and say, oh boy, how far is this website? Is this warehouse going to be good for me? Is this going to be good for a factory site? And then there's, back when I was looking for, trying to get my TV show, I spoke to someone who was a manager of a radio station here in Nigeria, but who had a business on the side, and his business on the side was helping people select sites for radio stations and then to set up the radio station and to get it running. Now, until I met him, I didn't know that there are people who actually make a living doing that. So yes, there are people who are site selection consultants, even in Nigeria. And I told you that I'm not making this up. I met somebody who that is his side business. You want to start a radio? No problem. You go and talk to him. And then he has to help you figure out where would be the best place to figure out, to put your offices, or the best place to put the tower, or the best place to put the satellite, or the best place, stuff like that. So site selection consultants. Then people who are involved in the architecture space. So you're a general contractor, handling buildings, you're a foreman, or, like I said, you're an architect. You have to walk people through a physical site, whether it's, one-on-one, boots on ground, or whether it's you just take your phone and you're trying to do something on WhatsApp. Interior designers, you also have to do this as well. Here's the office, here's the space, we'll do it like this, we'll do it like this, we'll do it like that. That's part of the job. Environmental consultants. Some of you think I'm making stuff up, but I'm not. I was surprised to find out that one of my classmates, who I thought was going to be a brilliant physicist, actually is an environmental consultant. That's what he does. You start a business, you want to open a factory somewhere, you want to, do something here, do something there. You need an environmental impact assessment done, and he's the one who shows up to do that sort of thing. So, of course, there are times when he's going to have to walk people through a site, physically, as in, Oga, follow me. You see this pond, you see this, you see this thing, you see this one, this is not the implication, this is not the implication. So, my classmate, who is an environmental consultant, has to go and do that thing on site. Or, worst case scenario, get a WhatsApp, just do WhatsApp call or Skype call or something and start walking people through. Event planners, venue managers, hotel and sales managers. The list is plenty. The reason why I'm just listing it out is I'm just trying to tell you guys that, look, what we're going to talk about today is not theory. It is something very practical. There are people who have to walk somebody through a physical site because they're going to close the deal. Now, the reason why we're doing this is because I just had an interaction this morning on behalf of my client. Now, let's call my client Chuck Norris. Now, not the real Chuck Norris, by the way. I'm just saying Chuck Norris because my client's name actually rhymes with Chuck Norris. So if you're listening and your name rhymes with Chuck Norris, then it's you. So, Chuck Norris now, he's trying to hire someone who is going to be doing this kind of thing in his own business. somebody who's going to be walking potential customers through certain properties that they have to acquire later on, properties that they're going to buy, properties that they're going to lease, that they're going to rent, or whatever. So he has already selected someone. And I told the guy that, look, before you do this thing, do a trial run. Be sure that this babe is on point. Sorry, that this guy is on point. The guy that they hired. He said, no problem. So they did a trial run. And then based on the trial run now, it became clear that, okay, we need to actually train this person. And some of the things that Chuck Norris pointed out, and I agree with him. Again, Chuck Norris is not my client's real name. Chuck Norris pointed out that the session started without any introduction. The session started without any pleasantries. The person was moving with the camera too fast, and the person didn't have any facts or figures handy. And yes, those are very cogent concerns. Sorry, excuse me. I'm just recovering from a cold. I'm sure some of you notice I sound better now. So, on this whole thing of no introduction, if you are someone and you have to show off a physical site, you're a property manager, you're into interior decor, you're an architect, you're a general contractor, you're a foreman, you're a venue manager, you can't just show up and then just start talking to people like that. At the very least, you show up and you say who you are and you say what the agenda is for the day before you begin. So it's absolutely important. That is one principle that you have to adopt. In case you fall into any of these categories that I have listed. In case you are a real estate agent, commercial leasing agent, property manager, site selection consultant, architect, foreman, contractor, environmental consultant, interior decor, event planner, hotel sales manager, venue manager, boboe, everything. At least show up and answer the question, who are you? What is the agenda? You're supposed to do that one first. Then, on the issue of pleasantries, very, very important. Now, some of us Nigerians want to be professional, so we'll go straight to the point. No wahala. You suppose, as in, the more direct, the better. But the thing is, even in the business context, people appreciate a certain level of rapport or a certain level of familiarity. If nothing else, will make the whole thing less awkward and it'll make you much more approachable. And please, as a matter of growing your business, let's say you're an architect now, or you're a contractor. If you're walking somebody through a site, all right, you're trying to close this deal. But because you came in on a very high professional level, the person feels as if, they can't approach you, they can't talk to you. If there's any problem, will you know? These are some of the ways that we lose the deal, and we don't know. So these whole things of pleasantry, rapport, commonality, familiarity, whatever it is that we call it, very important. Because it does make you approachable. So if as an architect you're walking somebody through the site but you're very standoffish, if there's problem, they won't tell you. If they have question, they won't tell you. These are the kind of things where another architect can come and steal this contract. Another contractor can come and win this award because you are too standoffish. So I'm not saying you should show up and say, oh, how are you? How is the wife? How's the children? How's the this? Happy Sunday, happy Easter, happy Valentine, No, we're not saying you should do any of that. But if you've been listening to the podcast for any length of time, already have lots of podcast episodes about how you build rapport and commonality with someone and how you establish a certain level of familiarity. So when you're done listening to this podcast episode, just scroll back, look at the subjects. Eventually you find something around building rapport. And then, of course, Chuck Norris, again, not his real name, my client, had the complaint about the guy. When he was using the camera was moving too fast, and then the person didn't have facts and figures. No problem. So I said, okay, no Allah, I'll call up this guy, and then we'll give him small training. So I called the guy that was selected. Now let's call the guy Kermit the Frog. Now I'm not abusing the guy to say he's a frog. It's just that his name, Kermit the Frog, rhymes with Kermit. And if you're a Nigerian and you're wondering, which kind of boy's name in Nigeria rhymes with Kermit? Don't worry, just think hard. Eventually you'll figure it out. Actually, it's a very popular name. So, if you're listening to this podcast and you're wondering, Kermit the Frog, is that me? Yep, actually is you. So, with Kermit the Frog now, again, not an insult. It's just that, I grew up on Sesame Street, Fraggle Rock, all those sorts of stuff. So, Kermit the Frog, Miss Piggy, Gonzo, who again, all of those characters, all those Muppets, those are things I used to watch when I was growing up. So I just like Kermit the Frog, so I've never forgotten him. So anyway, so now The guy now, Kermit the Frog, these are some of the principles that we discussed. So I said, look, Kermit, congrats, first of all, that Chuck Norris is hiring you. Kermit said, no, Allah. I said, okay, it's looking good. It's looking like you're going to end up being the person that they end up working with. Kermit said, okay, no, Allah. Because, number one, you're always on time. And that's one thing I appreciate about Kermit, because Kermit is on time. If you tell Kermit, look, our next meeting is Wednesday morning, 8:30. By 7:55, Kermit go not ping you. Ping him, good morning, sir. You see? The guy is on your toes. He's keeping you on, like, if the meeting doesn't hold, it is not because Kermit forgot. And that is one thing that Nigerian business people don't do well. So we should always do that, so that our meetings we don't miss meetings and things like that. So follow-up messages, reminders, things like that, notifications, putting people on point. And of course, Kermit is never late. So that was a good thing. So Kermit said, thank you, sir. I said, okay, but there's a couple of things we need to change first. He said, okay, no problem. I said, okay, good. Now, the first thing we need to do is, before I started talking, I asked Kermit, because I wanted to see how self-aware Kermit is. I said, okay, Kermit, that inspection that you did. He said, sir, that inspection that you did, sir, how did you introduce yourself? So now Kermit, the guy, he mellow first, the guy gentle. He said, actually, sir, to be honest, I didn't introduce myself. I said, I said, very good. I'm glad that you admitted. I said, sir, yes, I should have introduced myself. I said, fantastic, very good. So I told him, okay, good now. In your own way, how would you have liked to introduce yourself now? Assuming we're doing this thing again next time, whether it's a test or next time we're doing it with a live client, how you would like to introduce yourself? So Kermit said, well, I would like to say my name. I am so, the company, blah, 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 blah. So I told, okay, you know what? For the purpose of this, whatever, don't give your full name. Just give the first name. Because you also have to, how will I put it? If you show up and you say, my name is Oladimeji Olagunju Olanipekun, that's a lot. So technically speaking, it's your real name, Oladimeji Ogundimeji Olanipekun. But it's a lot. We just want people to have an easy reference so that they can call us. So that if there's anything, they'll just call us. So let's say, for instance, in your family, everybody calls you Dimeji. You can just say, morning, my name is Dimeji, and today we're here for, you see? Or, oh, good morning, my name is Oladimeji Olanikbekun. You can just call me Dimeji. Straightforward. So that if there's anything, the client can say, Oga Dimeji, you said, and then they bring you back on something. So just first name is okay for now. So, introduction. Just give your first name. That's all. Good morning, my name is Dimeji. Bam, that's all. Or good morning, I'm the fellow from so and so company who is going to be walking you through the property today. You can call me Dimeji. If you have any questions, feel free to interrupt. There's not any problem. I'm here to serve. That's a very simple introduction. They now know who you are. They now know the company that you work for. And they now know this is what we are doing here today. So any which way that suits, that is sweet in your own mouth. You don't have to sound formal like me. Any which way that is sweet in your own mouth. That's how you handle introduction. Morning, my name is Kermit. I'm from XYZ company. I'm the fellow that has been sent from the company to walk you through the property today. And I'm hoping that while we're here today, we're going to be able to look at the 5 different sections of this factory. And by the time we're done, I'm hoping that we'll be able to make a very objective assessment as to whether this is going to be a good site for your factory or a good building for your whatever. So, are you okay with that, sir? Of course, the other person will say, yes. It's okay, sir. So, if you don't mind, shall we begin? And the person will say, no problem, young man. Continue. So, you see, introduction, very simple. Who are you? Where are you coming from? What's the agenda? This is my name. This is the company. As we are gathered here today, this is what we are going to do. Bam! Introduction done. And then continue. Then, I also told Kermit, now look, before you continue, you are supposed to confirm 1 or 2 things before you start. First of all, confirm the identity of the person. Because if you're supposed to be meeting with Oga Batakbata himself that day, but Oga did not show, Oga sent his PA, you need to know that it is the PA. that you are carrying the inspection for. Because PA can only look and make 1 or 2 impressions, but PA cannot say yes or no. PA, by the way, just means, it's an acronym. What does it mean again? Personal assistant. Personal assistant, executive assistant, executive aid, all those sorts of things. So you need to confirm the identity. Who am I talking to? You will determine what you will show, and it will determine the level of, how in-depth you will go. So if you're in front of the main client, gone, the Oga himself at the top, good. You can go all out and say you will impress somebody on this inspection. But if it's just the PA, just a very superficial something just to confirm 1 or 2 somethings, and then try and get advancement. Like, okay, how soon can we bring Oga back into the equation? Or you're trying to figure out the executive assistant, the PA, you're trying to figure out their level of authority. Because if Oga has deputized to the PA and say, look, PA, just go. Anything you say, we will do. You need to know. So confirm the identity of who is there. And you also need to confirm the specs, the specifications, the desires, the wants, the needs of the person that we are talking to. Because that is what is going to determine, as we say in my church, determine. That is what will determine what we will show. So you don't just meet somebody and then say, introduce yourself, and then you begin the inspection. Who is there? If there are 2 or 3 people, who are they? Get their name, get their portfolio, get their, So if Oga is there and you recognize Oga and you greet Oga very well, so, I hope you don't mind me asking, Oga, I noticed that there are some other people here. So, this is Judith, my PA. And then this is Felix, my executive assistant. Both of them are going to be with us. They're going to be taking measurements and something. Oh, okay, sir, thank you. At least now you know. So that when you're going along and you're talking to Oga, showing him the site on a very high level, when he gets to some technical things, because you know that Felix is there to take note of technical requirements, you can slow things down for Felix. Like, Felix, have you noticed that? You got all the figures, Abby? It is so and so pounds per square inch, blah, blah, blah. All you people that show people physical properties, all the big grammar that you need to talk. So we don't just start the inspection like that. Confirm the identity. Who is there? Then confirm the specs. We need to know the names of the people who are there. And this is where people like me fumble, because I'm not good with names at all. And it's something I need to work on. But, because it's somehow to say, bros, you get, Abby? Sister, after a while, they'll figure out that, the reason why you're saying sister, bros, is because, you don't know their name. So you need to do some work there, know people's names. So you call them by name, Madam Judith, bros, Felix, So their name. Then you also want to confirm the purpose. The person that you're talking to, or the people that you're talking to, now that you are at this site, what purpose do they need this thing for? Are they looking to rent something for office space? Are they looking to rent it for factory space? Are they looking to use it for, maybe you're talking to people from MTN or Globalcom or whatever, and they're looking for a new site so that they can put up a communications tower, something like that. You need to know the purpose for why we are gathered here today. So, excuse me. Now, the reason why we're going to do that is because that is what is going to determine, as they say in my church, determine what we will show. Okay? That's all determine what we're going to show today. Then you also need to try and figure out what some of the key technical requirements are before you start this thing. So, hello, sir. Glad to walk you through this today. Blah, blah, blah. Do the usual. Name, company, agenda. It is my assumption that this factory that you want to set up is a rice milling factory, and that you're looking for something that is going to be 250,000 square meter, 200 hectares, something, all those technical whatever, because you're going to be using 7 machines here. You're going to be using 2 bagging machines, 3 filtering machines, 2 solar whatever machine, all this technical stuff. Just ask on a general level. If Oga says, yes, you're correct, good, you now know you can continue with this inspection with your full chest. Like, yes, the people who I want to be here, they are here. The thing that I'm going to show them is fit for purpose. It won't be a waste of time. Let us continue. Now, another reason why we confirm identity and confirm the specifications before we begin is because this is what gives us an opportunity to build rapport. Remember that my client, Chuck Norris complained that Kermit, the guy, the inspection officer, the guy just went straight in. No pleasantry, no nothing. So, it is when you're talking to people, confirming name, confirming purpose, confirming technical requirements, that there's opportunities for rapport and for commonality and some familiarity. You know, person say, "Well, this is my PA, this is my whatever, Judith and Felix." I say, "Oh, okay, no vex. But this Madam Judith, as I'm seeing, you know, her face resemble is Madam Judith your daughter? Oh yes, Judith is my first daughter. Oh wow, that is nicer. I really like it when I see Nigerian entrepreneurs such as yourself, sir, who are bringing their children into the business very, very early. Sir, that thing really, really inspires me. In fact, when I grow up, sir, I want to be like you. I have my children involved in the business." Oga will laugh, ha, 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 ha. You know the build familiarity small. So it's when you're talking to people, asking all these extra questions, the opportunities for building rapport will show up. Right? So, this confirm identity, confirm specs, or whatnot, very, very, very important. This is where you will get opportunities to build rapport. Now, as we were talking on this particular point, because I told you I like Kermit, he's a correct guy. Kermit now pointed out one thing. Kermit now said, "If we're going to be doing all this on the video call, is it not kind of too much?" I said, "Kermit, you know what? You have a point." And so Kermit asked, "What's the best thing, sir?" And I said, "Look, this is what I prefer. I would prefer that actually you should have done this thing before we get to the site." And Kermit said, "Oh yes, that in fact he was thinking he wanted to, as I was talking, that he wants to do this thing. Sorry about the noise in the background. You know, I have my kids home because schools are currently on holiday. So, so sorry about that. You know, there will be some noise coming in through the background." So Kermit said he would like to do his own about a day before. See, there's no fixed time. Whether you do it a day before, a week before, an hour before, 3 hours before, 4 hours before, you know, whatever it is that is practical. But yes, it will be a nice way to do all of these things ahead of time. Confirm the identity of people who are going to be on site, the specs that they're working towards, you know, their names, the purpose of the building, any technical requirements, any other particular requirements, things like that. So by the time you will arrive on site, whether you are physical, everybody physical, or you are the only one physical and you're using WhatsApp to be showing them ups and down, WhatsApp video, at least you for don't build some level of familiarity, some level of comfort. It will make everything nice, everything smooth. Now, you see, this is the reason why I say I like Kermit, because the guy get initiative, very good initiative in asking a question to figure out actually when will be the best time to have this kind of conversation. Now, remember that my client, Chuck Norris, again, not his real name, Chuck Norris said, oh, for those of you who don't know, Chuck Norris used to be, there are some movies that we used to watch back in the 80s. Yeah, back in the 80s. Some old film, action film, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Chuck Norris, Sylvester Stallone, Van Damme, who again? Billy Ray, is it Billy Ray Blanks? Have you Billy Bo Banks or something? Then who again? Bruce Lee, Michael Dudikoff, as in, you know, action film. You understand? Shooting, and then fighting. All those kind of action movies. My father hated those movies. He thought they were too violent. It's a good thing he's not alive today, because my father can see some of the films that people are watching nowadays. He'll be like, what kind of madness is this? So Chuck Norris was an action, a martial artist and action superhero star that we used to watch back in those days. You know, Chuck Norris, them, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Commando, Rambo, all of those things, Predator, all those things. So, anyway, just in case you're wondering, who is this Chuck Norris? You know, very good stuff. So if you go on YouTube and just type in Chuck Norris, I'm sure you see some of the old movies. So just watch and enjoy yourself. I know for those of you who are Gen Z now, you will laugh like, I can't believe people used to watch these things. No problem. Back then, those were the ish. Like anytime. In fact, Cynthia Rothrock, I even forgot Cynthia Rothrock, legend. Cynthia Rothrock Now, the reason why she was legend is because, all the people I've been calling are men. Of course, Cynthia Rothrock is a woman. And she had this move where she used to kick people in the crotch. In fact, my son saw one of those movies now. And he was like, does she have to do that all the time? That looks very painful. Anyway, where was I? So, Chuck Norris, now my client, he said that the video started too quick. So, this is what I told Kermit, the inspection officer. Again, not his real name. So I told him, Kermit, this is what we're going to do. Whenever you're showing people a property, whether they are in person or whether this thing is online, like you're in person, the other person is online, as they progress, as you are showing them things one by one, step by step, you suppose they get feedback on features that you're showing them, and then you dwell on places where people seem to be interested, then you now get confirmation. So let me repeat the whole process. So I told Kermit that this is what you do. As you're walking through somebody on the site, what you do is you be getting feedback as you're moving along. Am I on point? When you notice that somebody looks like they're interested on something, you dwell there. You hang the video. When people are walking, you stop walking at that point so that you can be asking them more questions based on that particular feature. You're trying to get some confirmation whether they like them or whether they don't like them. If they like the something, you as a salesperson, you're making a mental note of it that, okay, they like this one, they like this one, they like this one, they like this one. At the end of the presentation, those are the ones you'll be emphasizing, the things that they said they like. Then you also be taking notes, they don't like this one, they don't like this one, they don't like this one. This is what will help you at the end of the time to realize that, you know what, let me not even try and close the deal. Because based on all these whatever, we looked at 10 different things, 7 of them, Oga clearly doesn't like them. This one is not a good deal. Let me take them to a new site. So I didn't tell Kermit move faster or move slower. I just said no, that as you're walking through, be getting feedback. Based on the feedback, you know when you will dwell on something. To dwell just means you sit down there for a while. Okay? You dwell on it. Then be asking them more questions to confirm whether they're interested or not. Now, the good thing about this is the client will now be influencing the pace, because you get to some places and the client will be like, oh, no, I already know about this, let's move. If the client says, I already know about this, let's move, why would you insist on staying there for 5 minutes and giving your presentation? Client don't talk, say, he knows it. So, okay, more they go. Then the place that the client says, really, you don't mean it. Are you sure? Good. That is the place where you stop and then you dwell. You now be asking more questions and then you gain some confirmation. So I told Kermit, this is what you do. You be walking around and you say, oh, sir, based on our last discussion over on WhatsApp, you said you are looking for blah, 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 and it's going to be a rice factory. And because of that, you're going to need 3 packaging machines and then this and this and this. Sir, for this building, have you noticed this particular section? These columns that are marked B1, X2, and Z3. I think that there might be good places where you can put your something. Sir, would this suit the layout that you have in mind? And then you ask. So if it's a physical something, at that point, to ask that question and be talking all this grammar, you would have stopped. And as you're pointing to the columns, column B12, X3, and Z10, Oga has to actually look at those columns and to start doing some small mathematics in his head, whether this thing is good or whether this thing is not good. You see, you're getting some feedback. You're dwelling on something. You're not asking for some confirmation. If at that point Oga says, this factory is wonderful, but this particular place, especially these columns, is not going to work well here. How about the columns on the far eastern part of the plot of land? Can we try that whatever instead? You see now, Oga is influencing the pace. The client is getting vested in the process. You are beginning to see and beginning to feel, beginning to source out, beginning to figure out exactly what it is they like and what it is that they don't like. You see? So it's not even a matter of speed, move fast or move slow. No. As you're walking people through, like I said, be getting feedback, dwell on some places, try and get some confirmation. Then you'll be moving forward. Now, this is one missing part of the process. I know some of you who are listeners of the podcast, you'll be tired of me saying this. But the reason why I say this again and again and again is because it's very important. And because lots of business people, Nigerian business people, miss out on this step. And also because there are some people who are listening for the first time, and so they've never heard about it. Lots of times, people do physical inspections or site inspections. Let me repeat. Those of you who are real estate agents, commercial leasing agents, property manager, site selection consultant, you're showing people warehouse or factory site, you're a general contractor, you're a foreman, you're an architect, you're doing interior design, you're an environmental consultant, you're a venue manager, hotel sales manager, event planner. This is where a lot of you mess up. You show somebody a place, and then you say, "Okay, sir, that's it. I just wanted to show you the property. Thank you very much, sir." And then you keep quiet. At that point, what the man will say or what the woman will say, most likely they'll say, "Okay, thanks. I'll be in touch." Now, the moment you hear "I'll be in touch," just know that there's a problem, because from "I'll be in touch," what will happen is they'll miss one or two of your phone calls, don't respond to email. After that, they start ghosting you, and you'll be wondering, what happened? I thought we had fun. We laughed. I did everything Tavishima said. That's my name, by the way, Tavishima Ayede. I'm the host of the podcast. I'm a former lawyer, now a business consultant. So you say, "I did everything I heard on the podcast. Things were going great. Why is this guy now ghosting me? Why is Madame now ghosting me?" Now, the reason why the guy is ghosting you, or Madame is ghosting you, is because you didn't secure any advancement. An advancement is when two or more people, mutually agree that this is what we're going to do next. Whenever people agree this is our next step, the chancing of ghosting becomes low. I'm not saying ghosting will reduce. Ghosting is a fact of life. You will never be able to reduce ghosting. Everybody gets ghosted. It's normal. Even God, people ghost God. God wants to spend time with you. He wants to get to know you. He wants to get to love you, He wants to get to build a relationship with you, but you ghost God. So it happens. Everybody gets ghosted. Even God. Even the devil. Everybody gets ghosted. So you can't reduce ghosting. Sorry, you cannot eliminate ghosting. You can just reduce it. So when you get an advancement, you agree that this is the next step, the level of ghosting goes down. So what you do, again, listen carefully, after the site visit, is you say, "Sir, any questions?" You hear what questions they have to say. Where you can answer, you answer. Then you will now ask one important question. You say, "Sir, is there anything stopping us from moving on to the next stage?" You ask, and then you hear. Because sometimes there are some question marks in the process. You just didn't figure it out. Because at this stage, Oga who is there can say, "I love it. However, I don't make any decision involving big money like this without consulting my wife. So I need to bring my wife on board." Now, the fact that you ask this question, that is there anything stopping us from moving to the next stage, and Oga said, "I need to talk to my wife." Good. At least you now know what the problem was. And you can now figure out a way to get Madame involved in the process. So that is why questions like this, "Is there anything stopping us from moving on to the next stage?" is a very important question to ask. Now, next, after that, there are two things you can do. Number one is, you can now ask Oga, "What would you like for us to do next?" The reason why I'm telling you this question is because I just want to give you all the options. But honestly speaking, I hate this kind of question where you put it in the other person's hand. When you put it in their hand, they can give you an answer you don't like. You can say, "Okay, Oga, what would you like us to do next?" And Oga can say, "You know what? Let's talk again in 6 months." If Oga says, "Let's talk again in 6 months," there's serious problem. Serious problem. We did the site inspection now. It looks as if everything is going well. You say, "Oga, what would you like to do next?" Oga says, "Let's talk again in 6 months." In 6 months, man, anything can happen. So what I do is I prefer to recommend the next step and then try and get some feedback. So what I would do is, "So sir, any questions?" Talk. Okay, so based on everything we said, sir, it looks like you like this place, right? "Oh yeah. Place looks okay, this, that. All right, sir. So is there anything stopping us from moving to the next stage?" I say, "Well, to be honest, I can't really think of anything." Then what I will now say is, "So sir, what I recommend next, since there is no encumbrance, I recommend that we do XYZ, and we do it by ABC date and time. Is that okay by you, sir? And then I wait, and then I hear what Oga has to say. So, if you are a real estate agent, commercial leasing agent, whatever, and you've walked Oga through the whole place, and you say, Oga, any questions? Oga says, no. So, Oga, anything stopping us from moving on to the next stage? Can't think of anything. The place is looking okay. It's okay, sir. What I recommend next is we come to the office so that you sit down with our property leasing manager. You come by Monday 10 a.m. so that we can start drawing up the paperwork. Is that okay by you, sir? Then hear what Oga has to say. So, if you are an environmental consultant, you're a general contractor, you're an architect, you're the venue manager, it's the same process. Any questions? Okay, cool. Is there anything stopping us from moving ahead? All right, no problem. In that case, sir, what I recommend is, or in that case, madam, what I recommend is we do this, and we do it by so and so date. Is that okay by you? Is that fine by you? Of course, in most cases, it will not be fine for Oga or for Madam because, of course, they have their own schedule. So that is how you guys will start talking dates back and forth. Say, oh no, I'm traveling. I'll be no more here by Wednesday, and I'm not coming back until April 4th. Okay, April 4th works. For us. What time, sir? I'm not sure. My flight lands in the morning. Oh, sir, in that case, I'm sure you need some time to rest. So how about I call you on the 5th and we can look at morning time. Oh yes, morning works very well. In fact, sir, you know what? Let's not stress you. I will come with property manager. We will come to your own office with the paperwork and then do everything there. How does that sound, sir? Oh, fantastic. Very fine. Then you now end that meeting. You will have agreed that the next step is, what did I say now? What did I say? April 5th. That April 5th is when the meeting is going to happen. You will have agreed. Then you now say, okay, in that case, sir, since we're going to be seeing on the 5th, I hope you don't mind. I'm going to ping you a reminder on the 3rd, just to be sure we're still on course. So, sure, no problem. That's it. You end the meeting. That is an advancement. Now, when you do that, you reduce the odds that ghosting will happen in the future. But please, for those who are listening to the podcast for the first time and who are going to try this and who will get disappointed, please just note that not everything works 100% of the time. And everybody gets ghosted. Everybody gets ghosted. Everyone. I can assure you today, somebody is probably ghosting Dangote as we're talking. He's probably trying to have a meeting with someone and the person is, important to try and close something relating to the to the port that he's trying to open in Tinapa. Sorry, not Tinapa, where is it? River State or whatever he wants to open this port. I can assure you that somebody is ghosting Dangote right now. Or I can assure you that somebody is trying to get something from Dangote and the person is trying to secure a meeting from Dangote and Dangote is ghosting that person. So these things happen. In fact, I was watching a video a while back where Bill Gates was talking about how he likes Dangote because there was one time he was trying to come into Nigeria and he wanted Bill Gates was trying to do some things with some state governments and he wasn't able to make any progress. In fact, let me repeat so people will digest what I just said. Bill Gates himself coming into Nigeria because he want to run one or two things, and Bill Gates could not get meetings with state governors. Let me repeat again in case you didn't catch it. Even Bill Gates, people are ghosting Bill Gates. If then ghost Bill Gates, then who are you? All of us will get ghosted. It's just normal. So Bill Gates in that video was talking about how he lost Dangote because he said the moment he landed on ground and then he called Dangote and he said, bro, that they try link up with so and so, and then Dangote say, oh, no problem now my guys, that Dangote just pull up his phone, 1 or 2 calls, next thing, appointment, and then Dangote say, where am I to go? And that was it. That's how Bill Gates was able to get access to some governors. So, to put it in perspective, nothing works 100% all the time. Everybody gets ghosted. Ghosting is a normal part of life. So just take it like that. But these are some of the things that we can do to reduce ghosting. So, for this particular episode today, this is what you can do if part of your job, part of your business involves you showing people around physical sites. Again, commercial leasing agents, a property manager, a real estate agent, a site selection consultant, warehouse facility manager, factory site manager, your general contractor, you're a foreman, an architect, you're an interior designer, environmental consultant, event planner, venue manager, hotel sales manager, on and on and on and on and on. So this is the process. This is how you walk people through a site. This is how you make an effective, what will I say? Should I call it inspection? Presentation? Well, anyway, whatever it is you call it, this is how you make an effective inspection. And this is how you keep the deal moving. So, if you're listening to the podcast for the first time, you fall into any of these career sets and you would love to connect with me because maybe, you're in the middle of a project and the thing don't hook. You want to see how you can unwind this thing. Then give me a call. Send me a text message or a WhatsApp message. Let's connect on 080-6466-2140. Now, even if you don't need anything from me, but you just want to be a part of my new WhatsApp channel, let me know. Somebody has already requested for the link today, and I've already shared it with him. So you just shoot me a message. Just let me know. I'll put you on the WhatsApp channel so that whenever I'm putting up any new episodes or I have any valuable snippets that I just want to drop in WhatsApp, you can just go there and have a look. So that's it, and that's all for today. Thank you very much for listening. I will catch you all some other time, and I hope I've been able to provide value to someone today. So if this is your first time listening to the podcast, please subscribe, Spotify, YouTube, Apple, any player of your choice. Recommend it to other people. And don't forget, if you want to connect with me, you can call, send me a text message or a WhatsApp message on 080-6466-2140. I'll catch you guys later.